All right, guys, welcome to What the World TV. We're going to check into this new information on UFOs right after this. Guys, welcome back to What the World TV. If you haven't done so, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you don't lose out in any future content that I'm putting out. All right, this will be interesting. Fox News came out with this like 17 hours ago. About some information on a gentleman from the Pentagon, and let's listen into this and see what we think. And I'm curious to see what you know and leave some comments about this subject of
One of the main
UFOs.
reasons that sane people are now capable of talking about UFOs without being laughed at is because of a man called Lou Elizondo. 13 years ago, Elizondo was assigned to lead a Pentagon program that investigated this phenomenon, whatever it is. Since leaving employment with the U.S. government, Elizondo has gone public about some of what he knows about UFO sightings. Again, he's made this current conversation possible. Now, Elizondo has filed a complaint with the Pentagon's Inspector General, and in that complaint, he says the Pentagon is waging a coordinated disinformation campaign to smear him for talking about this subject. Lou Elizondo joins us.
So right there is a whistleblower complaint. So they're gonna try to squash it and make up this stuff, I guess, on this gentleman. But he's got some serious credentials. So let's listen in.
Lou, thanks so much for coming on. What do you believe the Pentagon? Thank you. What are they doing to you and why?
Well, there are certainly pockets of resistance within the Pentagon, and my concern is that they're not being forthcoming with the American people about the reality of the program, the findings of the program, my role in the program, and frankly, the importance of this topic from a national security perspective. I think the concern for me is that there's a lot of information that still has to see the light of day, and they're obfuscating the truth. And more importantly, they may be doing it to Congress, which is a whole nother level of deception, of course, if that is indeed the case.
So if they're doing that to Congress, that's kind of insane because by law they have to release that information um, to the public.
Case.
Yeah, and it's also illegal. They're required by law to release this information to the Congress and to the public. When can we expect that, and how convinced are you that they're going to be withholding critical information from that report?
Yeah, two things with that, Tucker. The report can come out any day, probably anytime between next week and June 25th.
So next week to June 25th, they're going to be coming out with a report. They're going to have to file some kind of report, it sounds like, and then release it to the public. It's interesting. Let me know what you think about this. If you haven't watched the last video and this one, just comment down below. Watch both videos. Comment what you think, and if you give me any tips, that's great. The last tip I got was to keep an eye out, and this seems like this is leaking out. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, the report is what Congress expects, and frankly, what Congress deserves. But I'll tell you something of equal importance that I think our friends in Congress should probably be aware of, and that is the Public Affairs Office right now in the United States Pentagon is obfuscating and, more importantly, interfering with the Freedom of Information Act process. That is something that is in law. So I think that's something every American should be concerned with.
Yeah, it's illegal, among other things, and wrong. What specifically do you worry they will omit from this report?
Well, look, in the program ATIP that I was part of, we looked at a lot of things. Primarily, as most people know, the UAP, or the unidentified.
So that ATIP is a program. That UAP, you hear that a lot now because they went from UFOs to UAPs. Interesting stuff. So there's different little terms they use.
Aerial phenomenon topic, and more importantly, the incursions into U.S. airspace. There's a lot of data, Tucker, out there, and I mean there's a lot, and I have to be very careful what I say, but I think if just some of that information comes to light, one thing people look at the Nimitz incident, they look at the Roosevelt, they look at
Look
the
at that
kid and
right
the
there.
Omaha, and they say,
If
well,
you're looking at this video on
those are
right here,
anecdotal, those are events that
amazing. Look at
occurred
that. Look at the
every so
speed of
often.
that
But I
thing,
think
and it's
Americans would be
tracking
really
right here.
surprised to know that these events
Look
are
at it. There it is,
continuing to
locked on
literally last week. They're
right
happening all the
there,
time.
zooming across. Looks like there might be another
And
one
you
up here.
worry that the report will underplay that as a kind of CYA move from DOD.
Interesting.
Look, we can laugh all day long about the topic of UFOs or UAPs, but the bottom line is you have objects that are coming unimpeded into U.S. airspace, controlled U.S. airspace. And I know some politicians think
Now, I think this huge one goes into the water or something and then just disappears. I don't know if they'll show it or not, but I'm pretty sure that's this video.
it's a laughing matter. But at the end of the day, we have controlled U.S. airspace over Washington, D.C. for a very specific reason. If it's nobody's concern, then why are we spending millions of dollars protecting the airspace when these things have the ability to fly unimpeded in those airspaces? More importantly, you have men and women in uniform, brave men and women in uniform that are reporting these things, and for some reason there's some people in I guess politics who don't think it's such a big deal.
Last question. Do you think if DOD does keep this information from the Congress and from the public, that some within the Defense Department will leak it, will tell us what they're hiding?
I never condone leaking. I still have my security oath, and that's something I would never encourage anybody to do. I think there's a right way to do this, and I think so far is to have the conversation the way we've been having it and use the Inspector General process to our advantage. It's there for a reason, and the IG is there to conduct an evaluation and a fair assessment. Hopefully they do that. I have faith and confidence in the fine men and women that are in the IG shop. So let's hope that they do what they're supposed to do and they do the right thing.
So there you go. That's pretty interesting information. So this Lou Elizondo, I probably tortured his name there, but former Pentagon official, right there. You heard it here. You heard it on Fox News. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any more tips, please put them in, send them to me, email them to me, get my email. It's on my page there. If you want to be more discreet, I appreciate it. Thank you. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.